Okay, let's begin the study guide. For questions 1 to 5, it says, does the fraction round to 0, 1/2, or 1? Circle your response. So 3/10. If I had a number line where 0/10 would be here, and 10/10 would be here, with 5/10 in the middle, 5/10, means 3/10 would be closest to here, 5/10, which is a half. So this is closest to 1/2. I'm going to change the color up. If I had 20th, so this would be 0/20. And this would be 20/20. 20/20. In between would be, right in the middle would be 10/20. So 11/20 would be closest to this, would be right over there. So this is also 1/2. For numbers 3, 4, and 5, same question. This would be a number line with 0/7, whereas this number line here would be 1, which is 7/7. And in the middle would be like 3.5 or 3.5/7. So 6/7 is closest to 7/7, which means this would round to 1. Now, 21 is my denominator, so 0/21 would be here. All over here would be 1, which is 21/21. In the middle would be 10.5, 10.5/21. So this fraction, 2/21, is clearly much closer to 0/21, which means this would round to 0. And the last one, 4/5. Well, 0/5 would be here if I had a number line. 5/5 would be here. In the middle would be 2.5/5. Kind of running out of room, so I'm going to write a little bent fraction bar. So 2.5/5, while 4/5 would be the closest to 5/5, so this would round to 1. All right. For questions 6 to 11, fill in the blanks. Well, 3/4 is equal what over 24? Well, to get from 4 to 24, you would have to multiply by 6. So I'm going to take the numerator, multiply that by 6, so 3 times 6 is 18. Sorry, on your paper you're not going to see these lines, but there's this blank spot, but I think you can read that, 18/24. So to go from 8 to 24 in my denominator, I would multiply by 3, so I take 1, multiply that by 3, so this would be 3/24. To go from 10 to 30 in my denominator, multiply by 3, so I would take the numerator, 7, multiply that by 3, and get 21/30. To go from 12 to 36, I would multiply by 3, so the equivalent fraction would be take the numerator 5, multiply that by 3, and that gives me 15/36. To go from 5 to 30 in the denominator, I'd have to multiply by 6. So I'm going to take the numerator, multiply that by 6. 6 times 6 is 36. 36/30 is equal to 6/5. And this last one, I have to actually go down. I have to go from 10 to 5. So here I would actually divide by 2. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. So 6/5 is equivalent to 12/10. Once again, with all of these on this page, you are finding an equivalent fraction. 3/4 is the same as 18/24. 1/8 is the same as 3/4, 3/24. 7/10 is the same as 21/30. 5/12 is the same as 15/36. 6/5 is the same as 36/30, and 12/10 is the same as 6/5. All right, continuing. Add 2/5 plus 1/6. Well, the good common denominator to write for both of these would be 30. So this would be something over 30 plus something else over 30. What do I multiply the denominator by to get to 30? Here, 5 times 6 gives me 30. So 2 times 6 is 12. What am I multiplying 6 by to get to 30? I'm multiplying by 5. So I would take the numerator, multiply that by 5, and I get 5/30. So 12/30 and 5/30 is equal to 17/30. I'm not going to do this for every problem, but just a reminder, I've been doing this for the last several videos. 2/5 is equivalent to 12/30, just like 1/6 is equivalent to 5/30. Add them up, you get 17/30. Next question. We have 4/5 minus 1/10. We're subtracting. So the common denominator would be 10. So something over 10 minus something over 10. Well, 4/5 is equal to times 2 in the denominator. 5 times 2 is 10. So 4 times 2 is 8. 8/10. This would be times 1, which makes sense because it's 1/1. 8/10 is the same as 4/5. 1/10 is the same as 1/10. So we subtract 8/10 minus 1/10, and we get our answer is 7/10. For number 14, 1/4 plus 3/8. Common denominator would be 8. So I have 1/4 is to go from 4 to 8 as my denominator. I double it times 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. So 1/4 and 2/8 mean the same thing. 3/8 is obviously going to be the same as 3/8. Add them together and we get 5/8 as our answer. Number 15, 5/12 plus 3/8. Common denominator is going to be 24. Let's go to red here. So this would be something over 24 plus something else over 24. 12 times what gives me 24? That would be 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. So 5/12 is the same as 10/24. 3/8. To go from 8 to 24 in my denominator, I multiply times 3. So I'm going to take the numerator, multiply that times 3, and that will give me 9. Well, 10/24 plus 9/24 is equal to 19/24. For number, what is that? Sorry about that. Number 16. 1 3/8 plus 2 1/12. Before I do the problem, I have to change this to improper fractions, or fractions greater than 1. 1 times 8 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So this is 11/8. Plus 2 1/12. 2 times 12 is 24, plus 1 is 25. This is 25/12. Once again, I want to point out all I'm doing is rewriting this fraction, 1 3/8, or mixed number as its equivalent fraction, which is 11 over 8, and 2 and 1/12, I'm rewriting it as its equivalent fraction greater than 1, which is 25 over 12. Once I have those, I have to find my common denominator. So for 8 and 12, I believe 24 is the least common denominator. So 24 it is. What do I multiply 8 by to get to 24? That would be 8 times 3, so 11 times 3 would be 33. And to go from 12 to 24 as a common denominator, you double it. So double 25 is 50. Once again, as I say all the time, but I'm going to use the highlighter, 2 and 1/12 is the same as 25 over 12 is the same as 50 over 24. 1 and 3/8 is the same as 11 over 8 is the same as 33 over 24. So when I add these up, I'm going to get 83 over 24. And to help me make that a mixed number, well, I have to figure out how many times does 24 go into 83. Well, I know that 3 times 24 is 72, but let's make sure of that. So 3 times 24 is, that's 12, carry the 1, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 72. Okay, so that means it goes in 3 whole times, right, with a remainder of something over 24. Well, 83 minus 72 is 11, so my remainder is 11 over 24, so the answer is 3 and 11/24. Number 17. Subtract 2 and 3/8 minus 1 and 1/4. So I'm going to write them both as mixed numbers, or improper fractions, or fractions greater than 1, I should say. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 3 is 19. So you get 19 over 8, minus 1 and 1/4 is 1 times 4 is 4, plus 1 is 5, 5 over 4. The common denominator for 4 and 8 is 8. So 19 over 8 is just going to remain 19 over 8. And 5 over 4, I'm going to double the denominator to go from 4 to 8. So I'll double the numerator to get to 10. So I have 19 over 8 minus 10 over 8 equals 9 over 8, which is a fraction greater than 1. So let's change that to a mixed number. 8 goes into 9 one time with a remainder of 1 over 8. So the answer to this one is 1 and 1/8. Now we got the last few problems. Number 18, 1 and 3/4 minus 7/8. So this would be 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7 over 4, minus 7 over 8. Common denominator is 8, so I'm going to double both of these. This would be 14 over 8 minus 7 over 8. So 14 over 8 minus 7 over 8 is equal to 7 over 8. That's actually our final answer. I'm going to give my old reminder. 1 and 3/4 is equal to 7 over 4 is equal to 14 over 8. And clearly 7/8 is going to equal itself. 7/8 is going to equal itself 7/8. So when I have my common denominator of 8, I can do 14/8 minus 7/8 equals 7/8. Next question. 2 and 3/8 minus 2 and 1/10. What do I got? 2 times 8 is 16, plus 3 is 19. So that would be 19 over 8 minus 2 times 10 is 20, plus 1 is 21, so 21 over 10. Once again, this fraction, 2 3/8, is equal to 19 over 8, or this mixed number is equal to this fraction. 2 1/10, this mixed number is equal to 21 over 10. Best common denominator used for 8 and 10 is 40. So something over 40 minus something else over 40. Let's figure out what this something is. So 8 times what gives me 40? That would be 5. So 5 times 19. I happen to know it, but let's say you don't. So let's just go to the side here and do 5 times 19. 5 times 9, 45. Carry the 4. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. So 19 over 8 is equal to 95 over 40. And here, take 10 and multiply by what to get to 40? Well, 10 times 4, so I'm going to take 21 times 4, and that's going to be 84. Now, if you don't know it, that's fine. Just take 4 times 21. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. You get 84. So now when I have to subtract 95 over 40 minus 84 over 40, I'm going to get something over 40. Well, 95 minus 84 is going to be 11, and our answer is, make that a little neater, 11 over 40. And now, woof, keep opening up the wrong thing. And now for number 20. 2 5/12 minus 1 3/10. All right, let's do it. 2 times 12 is 24, plus 5 is 29 over 12. Minus 1 times 10 is 10, plus 3 is 13. 13 over 10. Okay. Now, let's say you're not sure of what the common denominator is. I like taking the bigger number of the two and just listing its multiples. And let's see what we got. 12. Obviously, 12 is going to go into anything up here. But does 10 go into 12? No, it doesn't. Then we got 24. 10 is not going to go into that. Add another 12, you get 36. 10 is not going to go evenly into that. Add another 12, you get 48. 10 is not going to go evenly into 48. But one more 12 gives me 60. So yeah, we know that 10 is going to go evenly into 60. So we have something over 60 minus something else over 60. All right, now we got to figure out what these two somethings are. Well, 12 times 5 gives me 60, so 29 times 5. Imagine I don't know that, so I'm going to go over here on the side and write that down. 5 times 29. 5 times 9 is 45, carry the 4. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14, so this would be 145 over 60. And 10 times what gives me 60? Well, that would be 10 times 6. So I'm going to take 13 and multiply that times 6. 6 times 13. 6 times 3 is 18, carry the 1. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So this would be 78 over 60. All right. My little reminder, 2 5/12 is equal to 29 over 12 is equal to 145 over 60. 1 3/10 is equal to 13 over 10 is equal to 78 over 60. So now I need to just figure out what 145 minus 78 is, because I know that answer is going to go over 60. So if I can't do that in my head, and usually I cannot, I'm just going to do 145 minus 78. Okay. 5 minus 8 can't do, so I'm going to regroup. That becomes 3. This becomes 15. 15 minus 8 is 7. 3 minus 7 I can't do, so I'm going to regroup. That's going to give me 13 minus 7 is 6. So 67 over 60, which is a fraction greater than 1. But it should be pretty easy to see that 60 goes into 67 one time with a remainder of 7 over 60. Well, there we go. Hope the video helped you out.